You know she doing too much, man. Lord have
That's
mercy.
the
You live, you live.
I wanna say something, but that's the ish right there. That's it. That's
Good
it.
morning, everybody.
Good
Good
morning out there in
morning.
podcast land. My wife, the mad scientist, engineer, just gave us that's from the New Year's, ain't it? The New
I
Year's
gave y'all a
countdown.
countdown intro. Let's go.
Lord knows
Yeah,
she's
I
doing
love
too
it. I
much.
love it.
A beast, boy. This person is turned into a beast. That's a good morning, BB. As usual, our number one fan. This person has took this little engineer position and ran with it. You know what I mean? Hey, y'all out there in podcast land, we like to welcome y'all into our homes, into my man cave, into my wife's dining room, and into Gina's life. Gina, we're Gina's home. We're ecstatic that Gina's here. Y'all know that yesterday was Gina's birthday, so I'm sure you went out. You enjoy yourself, Gina?
I did. I really
Yeah,
did. I had a
yeah,
nice meal with some friends and
yeah.
did a little too much, but that's okay. That's
Hey,
That's what
I'm
anybody you
here.
want?
birthdays are for, doing a little
Yeah.
too much.
I'm here.
Anybody, Gina, is it anybody you want to shout out for showing you a good time that took you out and did anything special for your birthday that you would like to let them know thank you?
I first want to say I got so many birthday wishes from all of my friends. I want to say thank you to all of them. But I did go to dinner with Bunny and Donnie, and they showed me a wonderful time at Romano's, one of our favorites. And
Crab cakes, baby. Crab cakes.
I didn't get the crab cake. My favorite there is scallops. I love them, and so I got that, and I got clams on the half shell, which is another one of my favorites, and I had a wonderful time.
That's really good. That's excellent. One last happy birthday to the birthday girl. One last happy birthday to the birthday
Yay.
girl. Hey,
64
y'all. Anyway,
rotations
man.
around the sun.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something else too. Here's something else that people, as I said, me being a novice, I own up to my shortcomings and stuff like that. I never really saw the birthday as exactly what Gina said it is. You know what your birthday it means that you have completed a rotation around the sun. That takes 365 days, or in a leap year, 366 days that you've gone around the sun. And do you know, I own up to my shortcomings. I've never seen it that way, never thought about it that way. I actually probably didn't even know it. That that's exactly what a birthday is. One
Yeah.
whole complete rotation around the sun.
Good
And I
morning,
want to thank
Renee Allen.
and and before I say anything else, I want to thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for
Jesus.
letting me see it.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Later on, we'll let him know we're going to give the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ a hands up and a clap clap for that. Well
That's
done.
right.
Right,
Absolutely,
tell that.
That's right.
absolutely.
Anyway, everybody that's out there, welcome into our home. Good morning, Gina Lee,
Good morning, Party Marty.
our historian. Good morning, Cece.
Good morning.
Good morning, Renee. Good morning, BB. Good morning, everybody out there in podcast land. Good morning, my buddy Tony from Tony's Trucking. It's going to be jumping in there. It's, Lisa, our sister-in-law from what is no? She's my niece-in-law. She's married to my nephew Frank from State Farm Insurance. Is going to be one of the persons that's on our show or my show next Monday. She's going to tell you something. And she made a comment. She laughed about it. You know, people that's not getting the corona shot. She made something that was funny, but it's true. She said, if you ain't get the corona shot, it's not a big deal, but get you some insurance. You know what I mean? If you play Russian roulette with your life, you know what I mean? Have some insurance so that when you leave the family and all that because of the bad decisions that you're making, you know what I mean? You're not putting everybody in the financial burden of burying you because you are an idiot. When
There
I
you
tell
go.
you my opinion, I'm only giving you my opinion. I mean, Carolyn Hill from my family explained to us that she has kidney situation and she's unable to take it. You know, it's people out there who have their answer on why they're not taking it. You know what I mean? We respect y'all opinions. I think you're a damn fool, but that's once again my opinion. But I do want to say this to you. I give it to you in layman's terms. Here's a way that you'll understand to everybody out there in podcast land that is not getting a shot, only because they're not getting a shot, only because they're not getting a shot. Here's my response to you. I can make that real plain and simple. If your strategy is you didn't get the shot because, how about everybody uses your strategy? How about everybody uses your strategy? Let's say you didn't get the shot because. Let's all follow your trend. Let's follow your lead. Let's all not get the shot. Think about it. Let's all not get the shot. If you think that not getting the shot was a conscious decision and you got a reason for it, let's solve it. As Dr. Ted says, Lord, I was going to say Taylor, as Dr. Ted says, send everybody to jail or let everybody go. All in one. Make it a 40-hour work week or a 9-hour work week. All for one. Tell everybody get the shot or nobody get the shot. Now let's use your chain of thought, your strategy. What if nobody in the world got the shot? What if everybody agreed with you? What if the new strategy was nobody gets the shot? Let's use your strategy. Nobody gets the shot. Guess what? We're dead. We're dead. Real simple. Now, I love your strategy. Your strategy, well, I didn't get the shot because Dr. Kildare got the shot and died, and then 2 other people got the shot and got sick. We know about them 3 or 4 people that got the shot and had an allergic reaction or didn't make it. Sorry to that family. Rest in peace. But let's use another strategy. Let's use your strategy. Instead of listening to Gina Lee always talk about wear the mask and get the damn shot, instead of listening to CC, who every podcast speaks on this pandemic and the new variant that's coming out and what you need to do to get the shot to give ourselves a chance to recover so we can look out. Milton Whaley, shout out to Milton Whaley who sent me a link to look at a new cruise that's coming out of Baltimore to the Bahamas or Bermuda or something like that. Thank you, Milton. We will be looking at that. To everybody that's out there planning things that they think could go, hey, good morning, Big Tony. Big Tony, that's my buddy from Tony's Trucking. The guy, if you at my cook out at the Far West, he's the Far West guy, we call him. But let's use their strategy. Let's nobody get this shot. And let's find out how good that works for you. People, if nobody were to get the shot, and they say the variant says if nobody literally ever got the shot, they say in 5 years that we would lose 1/4 of the world. Now I want you to think about that startling statistic. They said if nobody got the shot, 1/4 of the world in 5 years would be dead. Not 1/4 of West Baltimore, 1/4 of the city, 1/4 of your family, 1/4 of the world. This ain't no regular stuff. This ain't United States. This is global. This pandemic is running around the world. They said if nobody got the shot in 5 years, 1/4 of the world would be dead. Would be dead. I want you to think about what you're doing with the world. Damn what you're doing with yourself. Damn what you're doing with your family. Damn what you're doing with your neighborhood. Damn what you're doing to us. Your poor decision making is affecting the whole world. Yeah. We're not a black show. We're not a white show. We're an informative show. I'm giving you some information. Gina's going to tell you about it. Get the shot. Wear the damn mask. My wife preaches it every episode on everything that we have. She's going to preach it again to you today. Y'all, I've been looking at the news only because my wife does current events. They are still talking about this darn pandemic like it just started yesterday. Are y'all not watching? Are you not paying attention? This new variant that they have is coming out. They say is immune to stuff. They say that you got to get a booster shot for this new variant. Come on. Come on. What are we doing? What are you thinking? What's your decision making? Come on. One last thing. I'll bring this home. You may not have a problem with it. You may not have a problem with the variant. You may not be the person who catches this to send this pandemic into the tizzy. But little Johnny goes to school. Little Johnny is 7 years old. He plays on the playground. Little Johnny is happy and healthy. He's running around. He's not having any problem. Little Johnny is watching cartoons. Little Johnny is a good kid. Little Johnny, little Johnny, little Johnny. It's all about little Johnny. Good little job, little Johnny. Little Johnny goes home and he hugs his mother and he hugs his brother and he hugs his sister and he hugs his grandmother. And your grandmother doesn't know. She just hugged her grandson, little Johnny, and she just committed suicide. She just caught the virus from little Johnny, who was immune to the virus, but he brought it home to grandma because she's 86, and she now lives with the family because she's in hospice, and she wants to hug little Johnny to tell him that she loves him, and little Johnny just killed her. Now, unbeknownst to little Johnny, later on in life, little Johnny will find out 20 years later that he murdered his grandmother. Because nobody will tell little Johnny right now that his grandmother caught the virus from her. What happened to Nana? I remember playing with her. She was really good. Yeah, Nana loved me. She was good. Little Johnny, you killed her. You didn't know it. Because y'all didn't get the necessary provisions, the necessary decisions, the necessary shots, the necessary attaboys from everybody that got it. We was all proud running around. Hey, boy, I get him. Got him. We put our hand on our shoulder. Got him. Gina run around, showed us a sticker. We got a sticker on it said, got the shot. Cece and I, we leaving out the place after getting our vaccine. We walked. We run. She said she go back. I said, you left something? She said, I just want to get another sticker. Her sticker fell off. She wanted to get another sticker because her sticker fell off. It was just a little thing to put on the plate. Cece went back to get another sticker because she wanted everybody to know she got the shot. She's proud of the fact that she got the shot. We were what, Cece? 42 minutes?
Yeah, start to finish.
From start to finish, from getting out of our car at M&T Stadium to going in there, getting the line, doing the paperwork, getting the shot, doing the 10-minute, 12-minute recovery in the waiting room to back in our car. 42 minutes, as long as it took us to make a decision in the world. And you got your reasons why you don't.
And one thing, just real quickly to add on to that is that we understand that some people cannot get the shot. You know what I'm saying? But for those who can't get the shot, it's even more important for the people around them to get the shot. Because you know that this person's immune system is compromised, and for whatever reason, you know, we ain't going to dig deep in nobody's personal business, but for whatever reason, they can't get the shot. So it's up to the people around them to protect them. So you gotta, you have to know that when you get the shot, you are not only doing it to protect yourself. If you don't care if you die, fine, but care about killing your grandmother. Care about killing your sick aunt. Care about killing the person that can't get it because they're allergic to the ingredients in the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Those people, if they were able, may make a different decision. But it's unfair and it's selfish of you to make that decision for them. You know, so if you don't care about your own, and I know that there's plenty of people out here that's going through their mind. We hearing every day about these breakthrough infections from people that are vaccinated. You know, Senator Lindsey Graham tested positive yesterday, and he's fully vaccinated. But here's the thing with that is this isn't a cure. So let's be very clear. This is not a cure. It's a vaccination. So what that means is that, sure, you can still catch COVID, but it may be the difference between you having mild symptoms, you know, being a little down for a couple days, have the sniffles, stay home, whatever, mild symptoms, and unvaccinated. This Delta variant is highly infectious, more so than the original strain. And it's the difference between being sick and being dead. So you make the choice. You know what I'm saying? I would rather take my chances with those mild symptoms and know that I can sit home, hydrate, quarantine, and be okay in a minute than take the risk of being hospitalized, dying. And another excuse me. And another thing to keep in mind is that the more people that aren't vaccinated, that hold up these hospital beds, that overwhelm the healthcare system, is a burden not only on the healthcare system, but for those of us who have been vaccinated. If Gina and I have to go to the hospital to get surgery, we can't get surgery because you chose not to get vaccinated and they don't have any extra beds. You know what I'm saying? The hospital, the capacity of the hospital does not change. So elective surgeries and all of that, they have to put those on hold when they're overwhelmed with COVID cases. So
Good morning, Penny.
keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of the situation.
Good morning, Penny out there from the great Clifton T. Perkins, my friend. Thank you for chiming in. Brenda, everybody, Renee, keep doing your thing. Gina, anything you want to
add? I just, as I said once before, when we were young, if you recall, we all had to be vaccinated in order to go to school. We all had to get the measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, diphtheria shots. We had to have them. And there was no question about whether we should take them then. So what's the big deal now? I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. People talk about I ain't taking it because but you've already had 5 or 6 vaccines.
And if one more person tell us about this Tuskegee experiment, Gina, I'm just gonna pull my hair out from the roots. You know what I'm saying? We living in a different time now, people. They do not have to secretly experiment on people. If you've ever heard of clinical trials where they pay people volunteer because they get paid to have drugs
to go down there and get $1,500. Exactly. Yeah, I know people do it all the time.
So they do not have to do that.
Plus, Gina, the government ain't gonna pay out no big lawsuit if hundreds of thousands of people die from this stuff. I'll keep wanting to cuss, but from this stuff, no, they're not gonna do it.
Good morning, Rick. Rick said a lot of people.
That's my neighbor.
Rick said that a lot of people saying they can't take the vaccine are lying, just like 90% of the people that claim to have a problem with gluten. They'll say things like, my doctor said it wasn't safe. No doctors are saying that.
Good one, Rick. Rick is our next door neighbor, and we want you to know Rick is a Caucasian. He is what we would call the white race. One of the nicest, coolest guys you ever meet, my neighbor. That gives me a segue to let me in. As I tell everybody, this is not a black show. This is not a white show. This is an informative show. We got everybody up in here talking about something. I'm going to bring this conversation home with what Sandy put up, Sandy Dobson, one of my co-workers and good friend. Sandy said that doctor will come up to you, and this is a piggyback on what Rick just said. That doctor, we just near left out. We just had our that's Rick. Yeah, he does. He keeps it real. We just had our doctor's appointment, right? See?
Yeah.
And when the doctor finished up it, he told me because of my bariatric surgery and stuff like that, I got to go back to get some more vitamin pills because we did blood work and your calcium. When you do your blood work, it tells you everything. What's wrong with your body, what's right with your body, what you need, what you don't need. My wife is a bearer of bad news. I'm gonna tell you, she don't have no problem telling you everything is wrong with you. My wife would tell me, she loves me. Anything that she think I need to do, you need to drink some water. I said, baby, okay, man, I just had a day we having, a beer. Okay, here's a beer. She'll put a beer on that table and a little cup of water right there. Drink this first. My wife wants her husband to live. And thank you, my wife, for loving me. Sandy said something that was real heavy. Sandy said the same thing that Gina's saying, the same thing that Cece's saying, the same thing that Rick is saying. A doctor comes up to you and tell you to take some pills. Take this, take that. You go to the pharmacy, get your prescription filled. They give you 4 or 5 pills. You just take them, put them in your mouth, drink some water and swallow them. You don't know what the hell is in them. You ain't read what's in them, none of that kind of stuff. You just took them. You just took them. Your doctor said take them, so you took them. That's it. And then when it's all over with, see?
Guess what? They don't want the Pfizer vaccine. Pfizer also makes Viagra. I bet you some of y'all out there that don't have no problem taking that.
You know why you take it back? Yeah, girl, you getting it tonight. You don't know what's in Viagra.
What's in this Viagra? I ain't taking this Viagra. It ain't safe. Pfizer also makes Viagra, people.
And let me tell you what's funny too. We can now like this show talks about you and your shortcomings too. I too taking them Viagra, putting them up in me so I can be Don Juan San Wafi. You know what I mean? Come find out. I read that. I didn't read it, but my wife told me that it's bad on your eyes. Viagra is bad for your eyes.
Can cause blindness.
Yeah, it causes blindness. I already have a weak eye because I was struck in my eye with a rock when I was 9 or 10 years old. So I've been dealing with that for 50 years. That's why I have to wear glasses and all that to protect my eye, but make sure my good eye is fine, you know, because my eye is weak. But I had to stop taking Viagra because, you know what I mean, that one night being Samoa Fair, Wiki Woo Woo wasn't worth me being blind. You feel me? Some decisions that you make, you'll find out about them. Well, guess what? Don't nobody know what they taking in them pills. Just Andy said you just take it. Gina Lee and I came up from the kindergarten together. You know how we got our shots? We came to school. Your mother had the company. She came over there, remember that? Walked into the nurse's station, which at that time was the library. Because anything you do that required a lot of people being in line, it always went to the library. You get a shot, whatever. You know what I mean? Remember that, Gina? Yeah, they would take us into the library. We have a line. People could sit over there because the library had chairs and all. And they sat down just as politely and took that shot. They walked over to him, and the lady came over to you, and you told your mother, say, don't look, don't look. They hit you with that thing, squares and shot that needle in you, put a little smiley face on it, gave you a piece of candy, and guess what? You went to class. Mommy said, good job, walked you to class, and it was over with. Yeah. Mommy didn't ask what was in it. You didn't ask what was in it. You took it or you didn't go to school. That's all. You had to take these things. So, I mean, just the idea that y'all running around taking chances with your life, you know what I mean? I just don't get it. You know, I just don't get it.
And Rick is making a good point right here. He said also the same anti-vaxxers like to say my body, my choice. Weird how that doesn't apply to women. You firing on all cylinders with that.
Yeah,
we're gonna argue Roe versus Wade till the day they throw dirt in all our faces because we don't know if it's a woman, if it's our body, if it's our choice. But we're gonna go with that for the vaccine. You hitting them in the head this morning, Rick.
Can't make this shit up, y'all. Can't make this shit up. All right, y'all, listen, we always start our show with a prayer and a moment of silence, then we get in there. Look like we already started, but we're going into prayer. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in all our lives. Father God, we appreciate the fact that you woke us up again today. As Gina Lee says, one more rotation around the sun. That's all we ask for. Father God, we always pray for everybody that's over there fighting them God-forsaken wars so that we can sit home, watch Raven games, do podcasts, eat bonbons. Thank you, Father God, for those people over there sacrificing sometime to even their lives. Father God, we just now had a long conversation about these people over here that's dealing with dying from this God-forsaken pandemic. Please, Father God, make good decisions on everybody. If you have a reason why you're not taking the shot, you know, if you're curling and you can't take it because of kidneys and stuff, BB, a person like that who says that her immune system is compromised so that another person that has the virus can easily give it to her, we're praying for them. Father God, please keep everybody safe. I always include in my prayer my cousin in North Carolina. You call her Helen, I call her Big Cuz. She has something that she says every morning in roll call. She has something that I live by. And this we all need to think about. All you need to make it through the day is two things: God's grace and mercy. One more, All we need from you is those two things, God's grace and mercy, and we'll do the rest. Moment of silence, please. Amen.
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 The people that's just chiming in, thank you very much for Penny and for allowing us into your heart and in your home and wherever you're at, for jumping in. Rick is our new avid listener that's on there every day. My neighbor, who is a Caucasian, you know, let you know how, and that's my neighbor. Let you know just how many opinions that we have going here. Just let you know how many people we're touching. It just let you know the whole thing that we're doing. So I thank God again, you know what I mean, for the podcast, who has me reaching out, touching people, who linked Gina Lee back with me, my kindergarten friend, and most of all, my awesome wife, our engineer, has a new toy. Her new toy, Gina, is us, ain't it? We are my wife's new toy, ain't we? You know what I mean? We are sure. If y'all would have seen the countdown, we ain't never had a countdown. We have I use the clock over here off the television. It's a screensaver, but for some reason the screensaver didn't come on. So my wife said, I gotta make sure that y'all know what's going on. She put a countdown up, didn't she, Gene? That was fun.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, like they do for the New Year's when they drop the ball. 10, 9. I looked at her, I was gone. Cress said she's doing too much. She probably set up all last night playing around to figure out how to make the countdown go.
And let me tell you something, Gina, because you know how we do on here. It's simply us. We're going to keep it real. You know, my husband sat up there. Hey, Tony, if you still watching, my husband sat up there and told Tony yesterday that his wife was lazy and that she sit around here and don't do nothing all day. He think this stuff just automatically happens on its own. So ladies that's out there listening, single, married, or whatever, I want y'all to really know how your husband be talking about you behind your back. Right in earshot. Sat up there and told this man, when I tell you that I wanted to crawl underneath the sofa, but before I did, I wanted to get my bat and split his head down to wipe me, but I ain't do none of that. I just went to bed. You know what I'm saying?
Want him to apologize on
He needs to. He needs to apologize in front of everybody.
I'm going to apologize after I give you the format of what happened. What happened was me and Tony were talking about, Penny, me and Tony were talking about people's situations, circumstances in life. My wife does nothing but read. She's good with computers. She's good with all this kind of stuff. And people always go off telling my wife, why don't you, my wife is retired. My wife is retired from the great Clifton T. Perkins. My wife is 46 years old. She's been retired now for 3 years. She retired at 43. At 43 years old, my wife retired. You know when she retired, when she realized that I had said, hey, Gwenny Cobb, Mary Hartman in there. Y'all, a lot of these people are coming in for Gina. This is Gina's long-term friends forever, and they, you know, support her.
They coming in laughing at you with your BS. That's what they doing. Keep going.
I still haven't heard. I'm
sorry.
Keep
going. We waiting for the apology.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the apology, but let me give you the format. Because y'all telling the story. She telling the story one-sided. Here's what happened. Hey, Robin, here's what happened.
She said, say you sorry. Don't act like you ain't see that part.
Y'all know me. I'm West Baltimore Party Marty. There's nothing I'll ever do to say I'm sorry about. The word sorry is a terrible word. Everybody else, let me finish, as you would say. Or as y'all don't know from Clifton T. Perkins, what I would say, whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all know me with the whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me tell you what happened. What happened was me and Tony was talking, and, you know, my wife says, I said, baby, you know, if you want, you could always pick up a little part-time job. You can do a little something to help out. And my wife says the same thing all the time. Oh, baby, we got a divorce? No. Oh, baby, you did? No. She said, as long as I got this good husband, I'll never work another day in my life for anybody. I said, you can work from home. She said, the key is still the word work. My wife is retired at 43 years old, because our job, the state of Maryland, if you're in corrections or in our field, is a 20-year retirement. My wife has been working literally all her life. Let me give you this format, then I'm going to go off and I'll give my wife her apology because she may have took it wrong. Let me tell y'all how it went. And Tony's out there listening. What happens was, I told him, my wife sits around and does nothing. She's just always on some relaxed stuff. Now, some people can retire and still do things. I'm retired. I still work a little bit. You know, I'm sitting around. My wife When we went to look at her retirement situation. They have this box, Gina, this graphic or something like that from Social Security that tells you how much money you put in each quarter. We have a person out there that when but at Social Security, they didn't get any money because they work with their hands and they wasn't putting into it. And I'm gonna tell y'all, in case y'all don't know, you ain't gonna get nothing. If you don't put nothing in Social Security, a lot of y'all do not know, because I did not know. If you don't put anything in Social Security, when you get up in the age, you don't get no Social Security. Do y'all know that? Drum roll, please. I didn't know that. I thought you automatically got 63, 65. They owed you this money. That's not true. I know somebody didn't give a nickel to, and they were making money the whole time, but they had side jobs and building this and doing homes. Their money was out of pocket and all that, and they just didn't get anything because they wasn't putting nothing in. When we looked at my wife's thing, since my wife, shout out to my mother-in-law, Denise Arrington, I guess, who pushed this person to be what she is. That's my mother-in-law. CC's mother, another hard worker that's retired from Walter P. Carter. Ever since my wife was 16 years old, do you know that every box, it's like quarterly, every 3 months, they put this in this box. Since my wife was 16 years old, she does not have not one box in the whole history up till she was 43 that she doesn't have where she put money into the system. My wife has never had a break in work since she was 16 years old. Since she was 16 years old, she's been working for one person or another that's been paying her and taking taxes out. So she had all these numbers, all this. I said, well, what does that mean? She said, I have never been unemployed. I have never been without work for more than 3 months at a time in my life. In my life. Hands up to my wife. Hands up to that. Hands up to that. Hands up, Pamela. That. In her life, she's never been without work. Now, I didn't know. My wife gets money, and you know what I mean? She embarrassed. You people don't tell their stuff like that. But to you young people that's out there, if you hang in there and you do what you need to do, my wife, 43 years old, to give her $2,500 a month for every month for the rest of her life to stay home. And it only increases. She's not even getting Social Security yet. That's just retirement stuff. So she had all this in these boxes. And I asked my wife, baby, when you gonna go do this? She said, I bring enough money into this house. And she puts her money into the account. We got a joint account. To you guys out there and women in podcast land, y'all got all your money. And your money is your money. His money is his money. My wife puts her money into the family kitty. And Gina, you and I both know, everybody out there, the average woman ain't doing that. They're not doing it. My wife puts it into the kitty. So anyway, I'll bring this home. She said to me, shout out to Maurice Tates being a good husband. I will never work again in this lifetime because I prepared myself to be home. I prepared myself not to work anymore. So I laugh and joke about it and we'll comment on it. You know what I mean? I'll say that, but I want y'all to know, are you preparing for your retirement? Are you prepared for up in your age to have you some money? Are you just ripping and running willy-dilly and doing whatever you want to do? Gina Lee does not shun her situation. She'll tell you, and you've heard her say it, or a person said, Gina Lee is her last surviving family member. Gina Lee, I grew up with Gina Lee, her family's into politics. You know what I mean? Eubie Blake's niece. You know what I mean? The Conways go over our house. Her parents are the Rawlins and stuff like that. They're into politics. Gina Lee grew up well-to-do. Well-to-do. But now Gina Lee will tell you in a minute, I have to make good decisions with my money because unlike me, the house that I live in, you know what I mean? I got to buy it. Gina said, if something falls off wrong, I don't just run over. My kids run over to Papa, right? See, run over to Daddy. I need some money for this. I need some money. What if you're in a position when you ain't got nobody to run to? Gina Lee now has to make good decisions with her money. So if she want to go to all this, she enjoy her birthday and all that kind of stuff like that, but she ain't going over there lighting $100 bills, lighting cigars with $100 bills till her money is gone. She's making good decisions. My wife laughs about and she kick it, but at 43 years old, she never had to work another day in her life. First of all, she got a good husband, but second of all, she made a good decision. All right, y'all, out there in podcast land, let's bring this home. To my wife that didn't think that her husband was paying her a compliment, I apologize. That tastes like.
Yeah. And
Hey,
listen, look. I want you to read this one right here, though.
read it.
Hey, CC, this is Monica, James's wife, the person that he was talking on the phone to. This is his wife. They can't do anything without us. We're the backbone, behind the scene to everything. LOL.
And yeah. Hands up to Miss
You better
Tony.
preach, Monica. Hey, girl.
That's what's up. You know what I mean? If you we call him Tony don't even have a name anymore. We call him the fireworks guy. You know what I mean? He owns Tony's truck and he's in everything. They got LLCs. They give away book bags. They got a million things they're doing. And Tony and his wife, his lovely wife that you just not seen up there, Holy Roly Bible told us. The Holy Roly Bible told us they're regular down to earth people. Tony, I can tell his business has been in and out of prisons just like me. Tony has had a gap that he hasn't worked to because he was in jail. I got some boxes in Social Security that I didn't work to because I was in jail or on drugs. You know what I mean? But I look at the Ginas, I look at the CCs, the reason why they're sitting home and they relax now is because they don't have any boxes and periods in time that they didn't work. It's never too late, y'all, to get out there and start getting you some money put in your Social Security. It's good to have them side jobs and everything like that, but believe you me, Robin, don't stop talking about the video. What'd she say?
She said, now stop talking about your wife.
Robin, good one. Yeah, but I can say this after apologizing. I'm gonna tell you that tastes like ass coming out my mouth.
I know it did. Sorry, that's why I ain't say nothing to you last night. I said I'm gonna wait for Simply Us this morning. I waited you out on that one, sir.
Well, if I'd have known you was gonna do this, I would have solved it, wouldn't I, Gina? Technical difficulties.
And Gina, we just gotta let some people know that some people's work product is intellectual. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing nothing heavy. I ain't moving no boxes. I ain't moving no moon bounces. I ain't building no bridges, toting no bricks. But my work product is intellectual. Sometimes you can be so mentally exhausted from the things that you have to do. And sitting around being everybody has that person in their family that's the go-to. And my husband and I have a beautiful blended family. He has 5 kids. I have 2 kids. He has grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and everybody. But because I am an extension of him, whenever anybody on either side of the family needs something, if it's his kids, if it's my kids, or whatever, they gonna call me. You know what I'm saying? So all day long, I tell my best friend, some days I feel like a firefighter and I got to slide down the pole because every day I'm putting out fires. You know what I'm saying? One thing about this family, I love them dearly, but they don't plan for nothing. If they want to do something tomorrow, they're going to tell me tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Pop-up. What they call it, a pop-up.
And they disguise it by using the word pop-up. Pop-up just means you about to work the ish out of me with short notice. You know what I'm saying? But I love them. I never complain. We always have a great time when we do it. But all of this stuff, this is my work product. So although I may not work outside of the home and do all of that, and my husband, love him to death, good husband, best husband in the world. He will work like a butcher's dog while he on the other side of that threshold. But once he come in here, it's over. If he want to drink, if he want his shoes off, if he want his feet rubbed, anything that has to be done once he crossed that threshold, that's my job. So for all y'all out there that have stay-at-home wives, don't take our work product for granted. End of story. Even the dog agreed with me.
Even Cookie knows.
Hey, y'all, that was a good one. You know, like I'm saying, this is a feel-good preach, girl. This is a feel-good moment that we just now finished having. All right, let me bring y'all to reality before we start the show. I want to let y'all know we laugh and joke about some things, but there's something. Our comment I made. You hear me? In life, we make mistakes. We have things that we apologize for. You know what I mean? My wife was joking and all that, but we apologize for stuff that we do. You did something, you made a mistake, you apologize. You know, you bumped into somebody's car, man. I hit your car. I apologize. You bumped into somebody. I apologize. But it's one thing that you will never ever hear me say. Shout out to my brother Purdy, Black Purdy from West Baltimore. Kim, I work home too good. And listen, let me tell y'all something. You will never hear me or anybody in my family say that they're sorry. I want y'all to think about that. You will never hear me, any of my kids, anybody in my family say they're sorry. This was drilled into us at an early age. I want you to listen at the word sorry. I want you to say the word sorry. Let it roll off your tongue. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry is a sorry word. It's a sorry word. Sorry is a sorry word. You'll never hear me saying I'm sorry about anything because I'm not sorry about nothing I did. And let me tell y'all for out there in podcast land, in case you ever do anything to me, you do it and then think that you got away with it because you said you're sorry. You knew what you was doing when you did it. You wasn't sorry. You wasn't sorry you broke in my house. You sorry you got caught. But how that song said, you know, you just sorry you got caught. That's all. Real talk. You know what you did when you did it. When you broke in my house and you got caught, you sorry. You wasn't sorry. When you went over there and decided you wanted to get fresh with my wife and you knew that was my wife, you're not sorry. When you said something disrespectful out your mouth to Gina and you know good and well Gina's with me, you're not sorry. You're sorry you got caught. You can find sorry in any dictionary between the two words syphilis and shit. Look between syphilis and shit. You'll find the word sorry. I don't care nothing about the two on the end, so I don't care nothing about the one in the middle. So everybody out there in podcast land, the other side of me, West Baltimore, ex-dope fiend, jailbird, thug party, Marty, this me telling you something just in case you don't understand. And this pertain to you, I'm getting it to you. Don't ever do anything to me in life and say you're sorry and think you get away with it. You don't get no pass. I'm sorry I just hit you in your mouth. Sorry you got blood on your shirt. You know what I mean? Larry Walls and Vulture, the Buzzard, and the Grump, and people at Druid Hill Park. You want to be mad at somebody, Gina? Tell them, blame them, because they taught me whip that ass, beat them bad. What he say? Gina, what Buzzard always say? Beat them bad enough, they'll leave you alone. That's what we always say. We get to them swimming pool fights and stuff like that. We say, oh, the next day they're going to come back. They're going to do this. They're going to do Buzzard say they ain't coming back. I said, man, they going to come back, man. Them boys over there ain't going to play that, man. We better be ready tomorrow. He said, they ain't coming back. Next day I come there. I'm nervous. I'm worried, but I'm coming. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to fight. You don't see him. So I learned something working at Druid Hill Park swimming pool, y'all, with Yago Gwenny Cobbs, who was married to the Grump. They taught us something. The Grump, Buzzard, Robert Smith, and them, all them karate guys kick around, rain on all them, Jack. When we had them pool fights, Jack, we fighting. We fight. Gina Lee is out there swinging with the rest of us. So in life, when people do something to you, you know what I mean? Do something bad, worse to them, and that'll break them out of that. Me, beat you bad enough, you'll leave you alone. Let's get into the show. That was a really good.
And Rick said y'all need to call me the producer because I'm doing more than engineering. So make sure you get yourself together. You heard what Rick said. Rick, and if anybody knows this Rick.
Rick, let me tell you something. Yeah, she is those kind of things, but I want you to sit back, man. Rick, you just now segue in. Gina, get ready to give you some therapy right here. My wife don't like this. Gina Lee, out there in podcast land. Can you tell them what my tasks are on Simply Us? Tell them my titles. What am I, Gina Lee?
You are the creator, the founder, the host, the moderator, and the person that says live.
Hey, Rick, she got a lot of jobs, but she ain't got them 5.
You know what? One thing about haters, y'all, sometimes they sleep right next to you in the bed at night.
All right, y'all, let's start the show. All right, everybody, thank you for welcoming us into your home. I want to tell everybody that this participation is just off the chain. Everybody is chiming in, you know what I mean? Glad you're in there every day. Buying yourself in there, Penny, you know what I mean? Mary Hartman, everybody that's in there. Miss Tony, Tony and his lovely wife. You know what I mean? So, hey, to Tony's lovely wife, who's a nurse, thank you for your commitment out here in these God-forsaken hospitals and streets and stuff that you're doing. Because your husband always talks about how you work. He always mentions that my wife's a nurse and her commitment is second to none. So shout out to everybody that's out there, the great Clifton T. Perkins, anybody that's working out in these God-forsaken places dealing with this and having to deal with mental illness and the pandemic. Okay, y'all, let's segue in. Hey, Gina Lee. Gina Lee is our historian. It's time to get our show started. You know what I mean? It's time to get our show started. So, Gina Lee, good morning to you. What's your topic today? Let's talk.
Good morning and welcome to Simply Us. This is Gina Lee reporting. My topic today is the end of the moratorium on rent, the eviction moratorium, should I say. It's kind of a sad topic. Not kind of, it is a sad topic because as of August 1st this year, landlords now have the right to evict renters that have not been paying for the past year. And not only can they evict them, they can ask for the rent that's due and all of the back rent that has accumulated over that time.
Stop lying, for a year?
Whenever they stop paying. So, you know that the average person probably couldn't pay that in their lifetime, you know? So, the sad part is that our government has let this date just slip past them and didn't put anything in place to extend or request them to vote on an extension to help these people. And I mean, and we're not talking a few. These are millions of households will be affected by this. And in a time when we are dealing with a second variant of the COVID virus, here we are going to put people out of their homes. Because if you think back, the reason that they started the moratorium was so that people would stay in their homes and not gather. So now you're going to have an influx of people who are going to be put out of their homes and have to go to shelters or whatever in a congregated area during this second wave of the pandemic. And it's very sad. One of the delegates, Cori Bush, she had been evicted prior to her becoming a senator.
She's out of Missouri, right?
Yes. Okay. She actually went and slept on the Capitol steps in protest of what was going on, just to try to make a point that this is what is going to happen. And she came to the Senate floor the next day in the clothes that she slept in. And she said, "I'm dirty, I'm stinky, I'm sticky, I'm sweaty." She said, "But I still have," she said, "I have what I had on last night. But this is how people will have to live if we don't do something." And this is exactly what she was trying to bring home. But you're talking about 7 million people that could be affected by this. And the even sadder part, like I said, is this pandemic, is the fact that I'm sure many of them probably are not vaccinated, and if they are vaccinated, they could still be spreaders, like Cece said. So, the White House and the thing is, people say, well, why can't the White House do something? And they can't. They really can't. As long as the Republicans block whatever motion they put into a bill they propose or whatever, it's done. And so I'm I look at, what was his name that got the virus the other day,
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham. I just hope that maybe things like that will help to open their eyes as to what the heck is going on. It's not, and I understand a landlord, because this is the other thing. Money, $50 billion, billion, not million, $1 billion, was allocated earlier this year for renters assistance and landlords, but the money hasn't, only like 3 billion of it has been spent. They haven't even let the money go to help these families. They said in June was the highest number of people taking advantage of the money, but it hasn't been released.
Right. And this is what Rick said. Rick said Congress could have fixed this a few days ago. Instead, they went on vacation. Dems have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They could have forced an extension through. They chose not to. Why? All these evictions will cause a whole bunch of properties to go back to the bankers, and then they will resell them, all about profit.
Absolutely.
So you can't really blame the Republicans here. Sure, they have a hand in it, but ultimately the Dems could have forced it through.
Good point, Rick. Go ahead, Jana.
Okay, well, maybe you can't blame the Republicans, okay, but like I said, anything that would have been put through, they would have blocked it. So what do you, I don't agree with that. So anyway, but that's the topic that I have for today. My first topic. I just think it's a sad state of affairs. I mean, and we're going to see this play out on our streets very, very, very soon.
Right. And just to piggyback on what Gina is saying, the federal government is now urging states to take action on the state level. A lot of this money that was given out to the states has really gone unused. They still have a lot of money left from their funds that they received for COVID. So the thing is that I can't really say that it's total blame on either side of the aisle, but as a whole, I think that Congress could have done much better, because they are the only ones who could take action. The Supreme Court couldn't do anything. The CDC said that they couldn't find any loopholes or anything that they could go through in order to force this. So Congress should have taken action on both sides of the aisle. But the thing about that to me is people only want to be proactive about the things that they feel like directly affect them. Their families weren't going to be outdoors. They weren't going to be outdoors. And then this whole thing with this whole moratorium to me is crazy, because I think that they should have put some more guidelines on this thing. Like, okay, I can understand, and I'm not saying that these landlords should take a hit, because we own rental property and we know what it's like when people don't pay their rent. If they don't pay their rent, you still got to pay the mortgage. Point blank, period. But I just think that this is the whole thing about them having to pay the back rent. You know, they should have put some type of stipulation in there, because this was an unprecedented emergency. You know what I'm saying? We have never seen the likes of anything like this before. And if a person could not pay the rent when it was due, now I'm not talking about these people that just decided to take advantage of the system, because we all know they out there too. Some people just thought they was going to live free for a few months because they ain't had to pay their rent or whatever. We're not talking about those people, but we talking about people who genuinely had a hardship. You know, it's where's the money going to come from? Where is the money going to come from? So ultimately, this whole legislation, or whatever you want to call it, in the end, it's going to do more harm than it did good. You know, because who's going to come up with that back money? Where they going to get it from? These are people who have lost their jobs. Some of these industries that were affected by COVID will never bounce back. Some of these businesses that closed, and some of these, they're not coming back. You know, we've all looked around wherever you are and seen doors of small businesses shuttered, and they will not be returning. So this stuff is just, I think that this was a good intention, but poorly thought out plan.
Yeah. You know, good point. First of all, great topic, Gina, affecting everybody, and CC, good response. I just want to let you know, like I say, one thing about me, I own up to my shortcomings, because I've been blessed with a lot of positive things, but I don't care. When I retired, my wife's already retired. When I retired, I didn't just say I was tired of work and I want to sit home and relax and do nothing. I retired because I was financially secure. I had enough money that I could sit back home and deal with my Social Security. I was drawing Social Security. I was getting retirement. My wife was getting a retirement, and we own Party Marty's Moon Bounces. So we're going to make all the extra money that we need on the weekends and doing what we're doing. We had a game plan. My wife and I put ourselves in a position, like I was saying, she's been working since she was 16. We put ourselves in a position to succeed. I would never, ever have to work again at anybody's job in my life. And that wasn't no fluke. I did that. I put that work in. We was there. Guess what? Pandemic, it all fell apart. I'm back to work now. I work part-time, just a couple hours, couple days, but I'm back working. I had to make a couple more dollars because I don't care. My wife and I will tell you our business. We was pretty much loaded. I don't give a damn how much money you got. If you keep taking it out, and you ain't putting nothing back in, it'll be gone.
Absolutely.
It'll be gone. Y'all know I'm not ashamed. Remember, I don't go off and talk like I'm broke, because I ain't broke. You know, talk about toys. I got a lot of nice toys. We drive Jaguars and Range Rovers. I got a 42-foot yacht down the harbor. Life was great. But I didn't go back to work because I needed money for the boat, for the house, for gas and electric, for telephone, or nothing. I went back to work for Party Marty's Moon Bouncers for my business, because I was going to lose my business. My company makes great money, not good money, great money. But I didn't know how expensive it is to have this business when no money's coming in. We didn't pay no attention with the warehouse costs. We ain't pay no attention how much insurance is. We ain't pay no attention how much you need this, the truck payment and this and that. We didn't pay no attention to it because we always had enough money that it got paid. We just wrote a check. Well, I ain't write a check. My wife just went online, did this. My wife pays the bill. She's in charge of the house's finances. And she just did that. And she came to me one time and told me, you know, we done went through $63,000 in 6 months. I mean, doing what? Paying bills. Paying bills. When I look back of it, about $37,000 of it was just my company. My company was no longer making any money, but the same amount of money that I've been putting out forever, I'm still continuing to put out, and I did not know how expensive it is. It is businesses out there that will never open their doors again in life. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. Party Marty's Moon Bouncers wasn't making any money, and the overhead that my wife said $37,000 in a short period of time was coming out of our retirement. Plain and simple. If we don't go back to work or we don't make some changes, baby, we gonna be broke.
Yeah.
Shout out to the mental health field. Nobody in mental health out there, Miss Tony. Nobody out there, BB. Nobody out there, Penny. Nobody out there, Murray Hartman, Gwenny Cox. Nobody in the mental health field is ever out of work. If you want to get you a good field to be in, get in the mental health field. There's always a group home. There's always a hospital. There's always a doctor's office. There's always something that's going on that you can do in the mental health field. If you say you're a mental health worker and you're out of work, either you're lying or you're lazy. Because they begging us. They're hiring us all the time. So I had to go back to work. So when the people are there talking about, yeah, Gina came up with that topic that you could pay your back rent. Who in the world got our rent? Our mortgage what? $1700, $1800 a month for 12 months. You mean to tell me I can come up with $40,000? Are you kidding me? At one time, even I can't do that. You can't do it. It's people that Gina's saying that. You know what I mean? Tony just now said that, my man Big Tony. This is a sad, sad time here. And what they don't know, Tony will know this. He'll say this to us. What they don't know. Hey, Marion. Yeah, hey, Marion. Well, thank you. What they don't know, turn us loose out there in a position where sink or swim. Turn all us gang banging, drug slinging, West Baltimore, East Baltimore, Park Heights, Cherry Hill thugs loose with nothing to lose. Dr. Ted says it all the time. The worst person in the world that you can have against you is somebody with nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
I watched my brother Purdy rest his case. He was in Giants one day. We was over there getting some food, doing something, doing what we doing for the house. You know, I guess his money was a little funny. Picking up, mixing and matching. He seen the lady in line in front of us write him a check. Got that little marker. The mark was $137. She said, okay. She took out the checkbook, wrote the check. All they asked was your ID, showed your ID, and wrote the check. We ain't know nothing about that. But us being black years ago, we didn't know you could write a check for your groceries in Giants. You even paid or something like we didn't write a check. My brother told me, he said he went and put this stuff back. I said, what you doing? He said, come on, man, I'm gonna be a minute. He went and put this stuff back. He went over there. We put all the stuff back, went up to my brother's a thinker. Rest in peace, Black Purdy from West Baltimore. If you a real person, you know my brother. West Baltimore, everybody know him. He's a gangster. Black Purdy came over there and said, come with me. He went over the street to us, the bank, he opened the account. Let me tell you how smart people are, how they thinking, resourceful. He opened the account. When you open the account, they give you some starter checks. Put $25 in there. Gave him 10 starter checks. We went over there to John, got every darn thing that we wanted, steaks, lobster, whatever he wanted, and wrote him a check. Wasn't that much? That money wasn't in the account. He did that because he was resourceful. He did that because the opportunity presented itself. Wasn't no thief, wasn't no hustler. You know what I mean? He's a person that's thinking. You put him in a position to think. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to society. You think these murders is running rampant now? Wait till a person got to decide whether he's homeless or not.
Right.
Wait till a person have to decide whether he can eat or not. Wait till a person decides whether his mother and his grandmother get put out or not. You talk about a person with nothing to lose.
And guess who they going to blame? They're going to say this is all because of Marilyn Mosby's crime program. That's what they're going to say. They ain't never for 1 minute going to say that Congress failed us and this is the result. The little man on the state level is the one that's going to take the hit. Watch what I tell you. Because one thing about it, if a person got to choose between feeding their family and putting a gun in your back, I'm going to let you let your imagination do the rest about what choice they going to make.
Right, and tell that. And if you listen, if you just show me them, a lot of them comments that you see from my next door neighbor, Rick, and he's a Caucasian. He's white. We don't have a black show or white show. We have an informative show. He talks. He's next door to me. He got the same mortgage that everybody else have out here in Randallstown. He gets affected like everybody else out here in Randallstown. This ain't no game to him. You don't run over and say, okay, I'm privileged because I'm white. I don't have to pay this back money. They want that money from him too if he had it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Gina has put a good point out there. You know what I mean? My boy Tony said, this is sad. This is sad. You are getting ready to witness when this thing actually hits. you're getting ready to witness a catastrophe. A catastrophe. They're going to take them people and they're going to sit their stuff out on the front. And everybody, and they do in West Baltimore all the time. Everybody going to see that they broke. Everybody going to see that they put out. They ain't got nothing to lose. They mad. Believe you me. Where I come from, rob, pillage, and plunder. That's what's going to happen right now in West Baltimore. I can only speak for West Baltimore because I know West Baltimore. I'm West Baltimore Party Marty. I know West Baltimore. When this thing actually hits, you're going to see the three most heinous things that you can imagine. People with nothing to lose is out robbing, pillaging, and plundering. And everybody out there that had their hand in it, Senate, Republicans, Democrats, anybody that had their hand in it, shame on you. Shame on you. You played a part in this thing. And that's what I love about the show. Gina just brought that topic up. I didn't know. Is your podcast, your personal podcast, says Gina, things you didn't know?
Mm-hmm. That's what Rick said. He'll be seeing just how bad it is because the company he works for, Party, specializes in foreclosures, and we're bracing for a huge influx. Yeah, keep us posted, Rick, because we know it's coming.
Hey, Rick, and you want to know the next thing too? Rick knows this too. Let me tell you what happens too. I went to get a home and was denied. I went to get a home and I was denied. Looking at a house I was buying. The people came over and they denied me. They said, Party, I can't. I said, well, what are you talking about? Who in charge here? I got 2 homes and I bought them from him. So I said, I need to talk to you. Then he said, yeah, and he came over there. I said, boy, what's going on? He said, Party, come on, go. He heard me out in the lobby talking, out in the room talking. He said, man, what are you talking about? I got 2 houses. We use your home as collateral. I make this amount of money. I make all this money. Why are you telling me that I can't get this house? What's the matter with y'all? He came over. He said, Party, man, I'm getting ready to go to lunch. Come on, take a walk with me. I said, man, I ain't ready to go no lunch. I want to talk. I want this house. This woman at this time I was dating Sylvia. So we want to get this house. Man, I need you to take a walk with me, man. Party, come on, go to lunch with me, man. I was like, man, listen now. Come, Party, please. I said, all right, come on. I went there. We went to lunch, Rick, and he told me, this is the first time I ever heard this. Do you know debt to income ratio? I didn't know about debt to income ratio, how much money you make against what you owe. See, I always use your property and your stuff like that as collateral to get other stuff. But what happened is the banks, and Rick will tell you that, that's his field, have so many houses that people had heard. Listen to this. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this. Check this out. Drum roll, please. Walked away from. I said, what you mean walked away from? Drum roll, please. Walked away from. They were so upside down in their mortgage and in their situation that they walked away from the house. What do you mean they walked away from the house? That's what I said. All the money that they owed, whatever that they owed the bank, they didn't care. They took whatever they wanted out the house and they walked away. You can keep it. I said, man, ain't that going to destroy their credit? They said, what credit? What do they care? Their credit already shot. He said that I had people in property right now that are 5 months behind. And I let them stay in there and pay me whatever they can. You want to know why? I said, why? He said, Rick knows this. When they finish with these houses and they walk away from them, the people come in there and steal all the copper out of the house. The house is flooded. The walls are soft, rotten, and ruined because they took all the copper piping out of the house. I said, huh? I'm so naive. I didn't know this. Yeah. When people see that you moved and ain't nobody in that abandoned house, the first thing the looters do is they come steal all the copper out of it. Now the house is no longer even resellable. It's destroyed. The bank Party does not want any more houses. At one time, if I didn't pay for this house, they had to lean against that house. The bank got so many houses now, as Rick works in that field, that they got sitting around doing nothing. They don't want any more houses. And they start telling me about the debt to income ratio. You say, well, I own these 2 houses. Yeah, Party, you own them, but guess what? The bank really owns them. You can't go up and tell a bank that you bought this house to rent it out. These two houses are rental property, but I can't tell a bank that I bought them and I'm renting them. Some things that you learn and you find out the hard way. The topic that Gina Lee just now brought us up with is a topic that we need to invest in. That means put some time and effort in. Y'all, we are dealing with a crisis now. When they let all these people out here homeless with despair, nothing to lose, no hope and despair, man, you done created the worst criminal you'll ever meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
The worst criminal you'll ever meet.
Yes,
Gina, great topic. Way to get us started. And CC, you've already commented on that, so that was really good. Out there, everybody, Rick, everybody, thank you for your participation. Mariam, thank you for Gwenny, Penny, everybody, Mr. and Miss Tony, man, thank you. Hands up, y'all. Hands up for everybody out there and your participation. As the Hopper say, we lit. We out there. We started off just doing our little thing. We out here. It's people that's chiming in because they got an opinion. They want to know. And we just regular people. We call ourselves Simply Us. That's what we are, Simply Us. Some regular people giving you some knowledge. Right. But now, if that wasn't a sad story, let me tell you something. Y'all told me to apologize to my wife. I did. Now, y'all apologize now to me for letting my wife get ready to tell her story and situation. Because by the time my wife, whatever her topic is in current events, it ain't never good, Gina, is it? It ain't never good. You think you had some opinions on that? I don't even know what she's talking about. We get ready to have all kind of opinions on this. Because I love her. She's a beautiful wife, the best thing that happened to me. But on this show, Gina, she's the bearer of bad news.
The Grim Reaper.
She's the bearer of bad news. So let's get ready to get your soapbox ready. Get ready to get your handkerchiefs. Get ready to get your napkins, your tears crying. Wipe your noses in your shirts. Because without further ado, here comes our current event, CC. CC, I'm a segue into you. Wait a minute. Let me segue. I say, CC, what's your topic today from Simply Us? Let's talk.
And I will say this is CC Tates reporting for Simply Us. And my topic today is, y'all may not have even heard about this one. Hot off the presses. This young lady's name is Nakia Trigg. You say, who is Nakia Trigg?
Who is Nakia Trigg?
Okay. Nakia Trigg is an 18-year-old young lady from Phony, Texas. And there is a viral video going around online about a deputy, I call these cowards out, Deputy Connor Martin, who they got 911 calls that there was a young lady walking in the street, that she was suicidal, that she was throwing herself in front of cars, saying she didn't care if she died. They got several 911 calls. So the Kaufman County Sheriff's Department dispatched an officer. The first officer on the scene was Deputy Connor Martin. He went to the scene to find out what was happening. He talked to the young lady. He walked with the young lady. When he arrived on the scene, she was not displaying the behavior that was reported on the 911 call. She was walking down the street, headed home. She was barefoot. She was crying. You could definitely see that she was disturbed about something. They never said what the reason was or whatever, but she was on her way home. And the deputy talked to her. He walked with her. And eventually, he winded up grabbing a hold of her. And she said, let her call her sister and call her mother. Her mother came on the scene. At this time, the deputy had her on her back. He was on top of her in a position called a top mount, which is usually used in jiu-jitsu. Now, what this is his body was fully on her. His legs were hooked underneath of her knees, but he was not putting any pressure on her chest. And that was the way that he was restraining her. So he was trying to get her to calm down. And let's be clear, in my opinion, from what I saw of the video, this was not like these other incidents. where this man was out to, he was a Caucasian officer, but I really think, and this is just one woman's opinion, that this officer was really just trying to get to the bottom of the situation and find out what was going on and to keep her from harming herself. She wanted to walk off. She was not displaying the behavior at that time. She wanted to walk off and go home, but as the officer explained, that, and those of us that work in mental health, Mary and Penny, all y'all out there, we know that they can't let you walk off if they feel like you're a danger to yourself or others. So they had to take some action. But when a young lady's mother came to the scene, and we all know if nothing can calm you down, it's your mother being there. So she was trying to talk to her daughter, coax her daughter. They had at this time had her in handcuffs. She reached her hand out to rub her daughter's arm to soothe her, and they also arrested the mother. They said that they arrested her for interfering with the police work and for being just those trumped up charges that they give people when they don't have anything else to give them. But they tried to say, in short, that she assaulted the officer when she reached out because she touched him and she didn't touch her daughter. So this family has this young lady. I want y'all to look this up. That's why I put her name up there. This young lady was visibly terrified of the police officer. She kept saying, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me. Let me go, don't hurt me." And it was later found out that because this family has had a history of having negative encounters with law enforcement. So she was more terrified of the police than she was of anything else that was happening around her. And then they arrested her mother. So that added to it. The mother said that when they took her to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation, said they kept her for all of 15 minutes and let her go. They didn't find any reason to keep her for that 3-day psychiatric hold. And the mother had to bond out. She already had some previous encounters with the law, whatever, which is neither here nor there. But this was disturbing on so many levels because of the fact that it was disturbing to me just to see how afraid she was of the police officer. And like I said, I did not see where this officer was really there to harm her. I think that his intentions were good and he was there to really help. But it wound up the officers now on administrative leave. All of this was captured by body cam. And it just wound up to be a situation that really got out of control, as many of these situations did. And the whole thing that was just really mind-blowing about it to me is that this family wound up the next day having to actually leave their home, pack bags and leave their home, because when the video went viral, they started to receive numerous death threats. They started to receive death threats from the public where people were saying that you got what you deserved and all this kind of stuff. So now they are afraid of retaliation, not only from the community, but from law enforcement. When it really come down to it, they really didn't do anything, But my point with this is that we need these police departments all over the country. They need to find an alternative to dispatching police officers who do not have the proper training when they know that situations are mental health emergencies. I think that they need to either add mental health advocates to the police department, or they need to dispatch mental health advocates along with the officers if they feel like the situation can get violent. But police officers do not have the training to deal with mental health emergencies. Marion, Maurice, Penny, all of us, 20 plus years, and probably other people on here as well, 20 plus years of mental health experience. And we just
Don't
know,
have a clue.
we
Yeah.
just know that it's not as easy as it looks, and a person has to have a special skill set to deal with a person who is in the midst of a mental health crisis. Police officers are not trained to do this job. They are trained to deal with criminals, and we cannot get in the habit of criminalizing mental health emergencies. These people get arrested, they go to jail where they get no help for their issues, and it sometimes compounds them and makes them worse. So, I just wanted to bring some light to that situation and find out what everybody thinks about that.
You know,
Rick
she's
says yup, and this is exactly what defund the police is about. It's not that we don't want police. We don't want police dealing with things they're not trained for. Defund was a really poor choice of words for the movement. I agree, Rick.
yeah, real talk. Let me tell you before you go, Gina. Let me go first. Let me tell you about something. A shout out to a lady, Miss Trudy, uh, who came in when I was working at I was working at Taylor Manor, and Shepherd Pratt purchased Taylor Manor or whatever, merged with it. And she came in. She was a person like a director. And on Saturdays, my good friend Sean Rhodes, him and his wife was working there, and his wife's a nurse. Thank you for your service, both of y'all. Bring videos in, DVDs, watch movies on Saturday morning. So the catch was you come out, you eat your breakfast and all that, and before you watch the movie, you had to make sure your room was straight. So, everybody said they room straight. Yeah, you room straight, you room straight. Yeah, you room straight. There you're good. You're watching the movie. So I go out and I come in about 20 minutes later. I go doing the little rounds that we do every 15 minutes, and I look in one of the person's room, and the young lady we'll call Peter Pan. So I go in Peter Pan's room. Peter Pan's room got clothes all in the corner sitting up there. The bed is she just took the sheets and pulled the sheet over top of it. So I told her to come back into her room. I said, Peter Pan, do me a favor, please. Come back in here and straighten your room. She said, my room is straight, Mr. Marty. I said, just come back and straighten your room. No, it's not. She came back. She's straightened the room and all. She said, I got it now. It's good. I got it. She came back to the movie. 15 minutes later, I'm doing my rounds again. I look, her room is still clothes all over the place. The bed is only not made up. And I said, I turned the movie off. I said, you know what now? Because the rooms aren't straight, and we're going to have to stop the movie till everybody do their rooms. And she said, I did my room, and everybody did their room. Miss Trudy came over there. She went in her room. Then we came and she said, well, I'm going to let y'all watch the movie for a while. And then when, in a minute, we'll make sure that all the rooms are straight. So I looked at Miss Trudy. She was a big shot, but I don't care about no big shots. You paying me, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm here to do a job, and I do my job. I don't get intimidated with you because you the boss. Because I know I'm good at my job. She explained something to me. First, I had my mouth poked out. That's what I do. She said something to me. And this is me. I'm telling you this because this is something I learned of being in the mental health field. First of all, we don't have a clue about mental health. We don't have a clue. Everybody's situation is different. She came over and told me, I said, look how she got the drawer. She just took her clothes and pushed it in there. And she did this, she did. You know what she said? Where she comes from, where she was raised, this was normal. This is how they cleaned up their room. They threw all the clothes over in the corner. This is why the drawers are off track. My wife know I can't stand that. My wife, I see how people just push drawers in and stuff like that. The drawer get off track. The bottom fall out the drawer. Take your time, put the stuff in there neat, and then shut it. If not, the door's gonna get off track. You know what I mean? That door, all drawers are all off track. She took her stuff, pulled up the bed, and put the thing over, just pulled the sheet over it. And the lady, Miss Trudy, thank you for teaching me. She said, that this is normal, Gina. She said this is how she makes her bed up at home. And when she did this at home, her mother, grandmother, father, whatever, said it was good. Her clothes, she threw them in the corner. This is their way of straightening up. Now, it's not my way of straightening up. My mother didn't allow my mom to do that. But sometimes we don't know. It's a gray area. You know what I mean? Remember how they used to do? Gina knows this because we had this all the time at 144. They graded your papers on a curve. You know what I mean? Somebody get 100, somebody get 90, stuff like that. If the highest grade in the class was a 90, then the highest grade in the class that was a 90 is now 100. So everything was on a curve. Everything went down on a curve. If y'all know what that means. So you got to deal with some people on a curve. That lady that came over there, that reached over there to help her daughter, and her mind was soothing her daughter and giving her a chance to calm down and succeed. And the officer thought that she was reaching over there being aggressive. She wasn't. That's what she said. You need to be training it. She wasn't. She was grading on a curve. CC, I don't agree with some of my wife's teaching with her children, raising her kids, but it took me a while after I was around her long enough to realize that that's just her way. Hers is different from mine. My kids, my wife say, what about girls? What about my girl daughters? I'm the best what?
Yeah, he's the best girl dad.
You know what I mean? My kids need something. I want to be there for them. I help them out. Penny know that. My daughter's 44 years old. She knows Tiffany. You know what I mean? I'm going to lunch. What you want? She don't have to be in. Already ate. You get what I'm saying? But I buy something else again. But daddy gonna do that every time you see him. They have we just got paid. They ask you for a couple dollars. I don't know no better. My kids, and I got it, so I do it. So everything's on the curve. CC, what? CC, but Bill, if CC's son owed $313, we gave him a car, and got a certain thing for the insurance and this and that, and the insurance is already on us. We're already paying the insurance on the car, so I don't know why CC's telling them that he need to pay the insurance, but CC's different the way she raises her child. You have a car, it has insurance, you need to pay it. This kid that she got, her oldest son, Mike, you know what I mean? Shout out to Mike. This boy will not have it said that he owed anybody a nickel. A nickel. Do you hear me? CC will go off if the bill is $313. They give her $300. She'll say, okay, thank you, babe. You know what I mean? Then she'll say, I'll see. What'd you say then, CC?
I see you the next time you get paid for my $13. I don't play that.
She want her $13. It ain't got nothing to do with the money. She said, I raised my children a certain way. You can give your kids whatever you want because maybe that's your way. But I don't go up and teach my kids it's okay to pay your bills. I don't tell them to do that. You know what I mean? So that's how she raises her child. And guess what? It works. I watched this young man. This young man is responsible. He saves 10% of his money. Oh, yeah, that 10% right there, I never touched that. Who in the world, 23, 24 years old, know not to touch 10%? Save 10% of your money, put it in a savings account every darn pay. Who in the world does that at 23? That's what she's gone off and taught this young man. The officers that was in that case right now may or may not have known. Just like you said, and I like the way CC started the thing with, they wasn't the Freddie Gray officers that would slam them on the ground. They weren't bullies. They weren't the George Floyd with the knee on the neck. They probably just didn't have no compassion and didn't know.
They didn't. And the thing about it is they just didn't have the proper training. You know what I'm saying? When the call came in, it was clear that this was a mental health emergency. These officers are not trained to deal with mental health emergencies. Marion said they're supposed to be starting training in the city to take calls like that. And Rick said that it takes more training to become a barber than it does to become a police officer. You know what I'm saying?
So you want to help for that one, Rick.
But it's true. It's true. And the thing about it is that, you know, these officers don't always come from a bad place. And I'm sure this will blow up to be something black against white. But this was not that. This was not that. This man was he worked with what he had. You know what I'm saying? He did what he knew, which was not much for a situation like that. you know, and they, you know, these officers, in my opinion, I think that that mental health advocates need to be just an added piece to the police department, because I can't say to give these officers more training, to make them out there when they're making life and death decisions in a split second, to decide whether this person is mentally ill, if they should run, shoot, take them for a 3-day hold or whatever. That's too much. That's too stressful for these officers, in my opinion. But I do think that somebody can go with them that is not a police officer, that is, sometimes we all know from working in these places, Marion, Maurice, Penny, we know that sometimes all it takes is for somebody who is mentally ill to see that uniform, and it
Yeah,
sets them
yeah.
off even more. You know what I'm saying? That for somebody to come that's not an officer, that's dressed in regular clothes, that can be disarmed and who knows de-escalation tactics. You know what I'm saying? These things don't seem like much, but they're a lot to learn, and it's a lot to do properly. So I just think that's what a lot of these situations are missing. And I think a lot of this stuff can be avoided if police departments are on notice to, you know, to do that.
You know, on that, Gina, one last before you get in and give your opinion. This is off the topic, but it has to be said. Just like you're saying, people sometimes people don't know. It's a gray area, and guidelines are different. I'll use Penny, Marion, CC. A shout out to Miss Danielle Rose, the nurse. Let me tell you something. At the job that I'm at now, whenever you have a code or something's going on, you know, they send the mails over there, they do this, and mail staff and all that. That ain't where it started at Clifton T. Perkins. That ain't where it come from when me and Penny came over there at Taylor Manor. Yeah, we had a unit over there. It was Tiffany, my daughter Tiffany. It was Danielle Rhodes. It was Nita, Penny, and them. Let me tell you something. Didn't nobody come over there when the patient was aggressive. Those guys don't come over there to try to help out and restrain them. Are you kidding? Penny and them restrained on themselves. You know, now you can run around and say, oh, we need male staff. These people over there in the mental health field, you don't need to help Penny and them. You don't need to help them females. Them females know what they're doing. When I worked on, I met my lovely wife down there on 1 East. And her crew was Marion, CC, what's the name? Look at him.
Carol
Look
McNeil.
at him. Carol McNeil. Carol McNeil. You know what I mean? Boom. You know what I mean? Debbie Page, Janice Green, Irving. What number of females on there? Because they used to have. They were what was the unit called?
It was the medical ward.
Medical ward. Yeah, the medical ward. But the medical ward had the aggressive patients on there too. You think you coming in there if you want because they females and stuff and think you can have your way. You're going to find out the hard way. So for all you ladies over there in the mental health field, all you female officers and stuff like that, start talking about you need a man to help you. Penny, Marion, Janice Green, Irby, CC, you Curl in them don't need no help. If you need to be restrained, they restrain that ass. You feel me?
So what you think about this, Gina?
Gina?
Well, I saw the video, and I actually give props to the police officer for the way he restrained her.
Right.
He did not put like his full body weight on her. He found a way to control her on the ground, but I believe that her mother actually, and this is just my opinion, I believe her mother hyped her up even more. And in doing so, when the other officer arrived, or I don't know if he was there already, but when the other officer started to converse with the mother and she started to get hyped, that's when she and the officer became, I guess the officer was like, I'm not having it or whatever. which didn't help the situation with the girl. Because I really believe after a moment, the girl was actually starting to calm down. But then the mother came up and was like, trying to tell him to get off of her and leave her alone. Da, da, da. But I mean, they couldn't do that. They had already been called for the call. So they had to, follow through. But, so they put her in handcuffs. She was sitting on the ground. And then the mother wants to be aggressive. So I'm playing devil's advocate here. I know I'm not probably the popular opinion, but
that's why we're here.
I give the police officer his props for at least trying to restrain her in a more humane manner. And I know any parent, if their child was being restrained, would want to inject their opinions and, how things should be handled. But, I just feel that in this instance, the police did the right thing. I'm sorry.
What was Michael Singletary's comment? Please read it.
He said, Tate, the same way the police picked up Melvin at Lexington Market and kept him in Clifton T. Perkins for years due to his mental health issue as a child. Simply no training.
Exactly.
Rick said Gina makes a really good point, and that's why police will often separate all the family members. Family tends to ramp up the emotional aspect of the visit. And I agree with that too. I agree with you, Rick. I agree with you, Gina. That sometimes, families, and this whole thing was sad to me because it just seemed like a bunch of well-intentioned people. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that the mother's intention was to ramp things up, but her mere presence. If anybody out here has ever been in a situation where your child is in distress, as soon as they see you, emotions run high. So just her seeing her mother made emotions run high with her. It upset her all over again, even though you said, Gina, she was in the process of calming down. But whenever the child is in distress and they see their parents, they feel like, this is my savior. Everything that I want to happen is now going to happen, and nobody can touch me because my mother's here or my father's here or whatever. So sometimes even well-intentioned, and I think that the officer was also well-intentioned. Like I said, this was not a Freddie Gray. This was not a George Floyd. This was not any of that. This was just a good-intentioned officer with poor training. That's not what his training encompassed, and he didn't know how to handle it. Rick said the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and absolutely true. So I just think that, it's a situation that went really, really wrong, and didn't have to be that way. But I'm telling you, and watch what I tell you, that it's going to turn into a racial thing. You know what I'm saying? No. And it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Michael Singletary is a major of all the racetracks in the state of Maryland, and his company, and shout out to Major Coleman. They would hire us to do the Preakness, and we were out there as security at the Preakness when we was doing it. And my first year that I worked, what you tell me about security, Jack? I work at Perkins. I got this thing. This ain't nothing. He said, Party, this is something different than you've ever done. So I got out there. They was making their little areas, putting a little trash can here. We're going to be here in this area, us 10, and they had their little beach things. I had no idea what the Preakness was like in that infield until I worked there that first day. CCU from Park Heights. So you already know how many people out there. You talk about madness. Can you imagine 10,000 people out there, everybody drunk, and you looking at them? And this is a comment that may be taken off track and stuff like that, because a lot of them Caucasians, they 80 to 90% Caucasian. But when you look at them, they're privileged. And if you look at their shirts and stuff, you just see them as drunk and doing this and doing that. But look at their shirts. Hello from Yale. Hello from Harvard. Hello from Wisconsin. Hello from Notre Dame. Guess what? That's where they go to school at. That's where they go to school at. These is privileged kids. You feel me? Educated and stuff like that. But when they drunk, when they under the influence, you wouldn't be surprised. They got this thing, show your tits, show your tits, show your tits, like they in New Orleans and stuff. And the beautiful girl, I mean, we talking some beautiful people. Hold their thing up, show their titties, and everybody would clap and all that kind of stuff like that. They drunk, they're having a good time. I said all this to say, I wasn't prepared on how to handle people like that. I wasn't prepared on how to handle people like that, because you talking about you getting back at one person. You tell one person, man, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. And Mike say, you think that the Crips and Bloods is a gang. Wait till you see 40, 50 people all from Harvard deciding that you did something to one of them. And we over there, 6 or 7 of us with our little security uniforms on. You feel me? You don't know who comes to a person's aid that they just think that they coming to the aid. As Gina was saying, and she came over there, her mother didn't handle it probably. I didn't see the video. But in her mind, she thought she was helping. She was probably hurting more than she was helping. And I watched us over there, Mike Singletary. We were not prepared for that. Guards like, I don't know what, people that's in the prison. Prison ain't like that. You know what I mean? These people are over here, they taking beer, cans of beer from one end to the other, just throwing them up in the air across, and you hit somebody, you can kill them, throwing footballs. You never seen nothing like this. So sometimes you are really not prepared for stuff. Some things you can't be trained for, but some things you can. All right, y'all, we need to move right along. You know, we're running late doing our thing. Gina Lee, what's your second topic today? Wait a minute. Gina, did you comment on that last topic? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. What's your topic, Gina? Let's go. No,
okay,
let's talk.
My second topic is, this is kind of a good topic, because ARC Social Club, located at North Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue, in the heart of where the Freddie Gray riots.
Yeah.
The Freddie Gray riots and everything, they call that the epicenter of that. But the ARC Social Club, which was established in 1905, is the oldest continuously operating African-American men's social club in the United States.
Wow.
Okay, ARC Social Club.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. Woo woo.
Okay, and they have received, and there were 20 entries, but they have received the state-funded initiative to enhance Baltimore storefronts. So they're going to be receiving $5 million.
Wow.
To renovate the ARC Social Club. And it will have theaters. It will be able to have a meeting room for social organizations. They will have a restaurant. They'll have all of these things, because if you know that Pennsylvania Avenue is going to become the new art district. And so this will be the entry point of the art district in Maryland, in Baltimore City. So, you know, I just want to say that I'm very, very happy that this structure is going to be renovated, revamped. I hope that somehow we're able to redo the neighborhood so that it is pleasing to people to come down and enjoy it again. That's the thing. I think part of the downfall is what's outside. Yes. So people are turned away by Well, I don't feel safe going into the club. Hopefully, hopefully, they'll figure out a way to address that as well. So,
Yeah.
And and that's wonderful news to hear, Gina. And you know that those of us that are from West Baltimore, we ain't never scared. We ain't scared to go to the art social club.
no, we are,
But they wanna attract more than just us. They
right.
wanna attract some tourists. So yeah, they got a little work to do. But it's
Yeah.
But
always
it's
good that we gotta start somewhere. So
the
if we right, if we
plans
never
look
start, we
wonderful.
never finish. So I'm
But that's what's
really
up.
happy to hear that.
Hey,
Yeah, the
BB,
plans
Brenda,
look wonderful.
great. Shout out to Lil Kathy Ramey. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Rest in
That was
peace, Mini
Kathy's
Me.
spot, BB. I was about to say I done had a couple drunken nights with Kathy up in the art social
Man,
club.
Kathy got me to take. She said, "Why come we don't never go out party?" I'm saying, "Oh, what we talking about?" She said, "Why don't you go out and have a drink with us?" I'm thinking she gonna say, you know, we're gonna be doing an achy breaky or some line dances or something like that. She said, "We go out on Friday nights to the art social." I said, "Where's art social?" She said, "On Pennsylvania Avenue." I said, "That art social?" Yeah, we went up in there. Kathy started dancing one record. CC, that was it. She must have danced 6 records in a row. I said, I'm sitting myself, damn. Talk about somebody that used to enjoy themselves at the Art Social. And there's a lot of great memories there, Art Social. This
Yes.
weekend, we hopefully will be reporting, or Gina will be reporting from Did You Know, from Post 19, the Waxter Center, the Elks Club, now the Art Social. We're going to get up in there and interview them and talk about these places that's been around forever and really been in our hearts and lives. Y'all, we've run on for a long time today. We've been a little later. I haven't been able to look at the clock and everything like that, but we had I guess about a 20-minute feel-good opening moment. And everybody has stayed with us, and I'm going to thank all you persons that sit back and listen and participate. What we want to do, y'all, is get some information out. And we want to put people in a position where they have an opinion, but they know. Like I'm saying, my next door neighbor is Rick, you see him. He's Caucasian. You know, when we talked about the people out there at the Preakness and stuff, you know, I told it from Harvard and Yale. Rick's, who's a Caucasian, made the comment, white privilege. Spoil little white privileged people, you know what I mean? That's his opinion on what they are at that time. And guess what? At that time, they were. But I noticed when you're coming down the street, though, Rick, I'm going to tell you something. You know, when we leave out our clubs and stuff like that, the police are down there wanting to see who's drunk or lock you up to see who's smoking weed or something like that. They close off that Jones Falls and they close off Northern Parkway. But when they leaving out of there, you don't see the police stop near one of them, and they know they all drunk.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time, Lazy Susans, Black Eyed Susans, drinking. When I say beer, they was bringing kegs. 4 or 5 people bringing different kegs. Geez, a beer. You know, y'all know that, as Will said, white people can drink beer. So you know they drunk. But guess what? They ain't pulled near one of them over, as Rick say, white privilege, because they know that their uncle may be congressman. You know what I mean? This may be Dr. Kildare's great nephew. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, some things we don't know. Some things you're privileged about. But as Gina commented, ain't nobody privileged about getting your house, about getting put out of your home. You ain't pay your rent for all this time and you don't have it. You know what I mean? You ain't have that. You don't have that man's money. They need it. And they'll put you out. I don't care if you're white, black, or green. Gina had CC talk in this episode about what was the young lady's name that was restrained, CC?
Nakia Trigg.
Yeah, Nakia Trigg.
Nakia Trigg talks about Nakia Trigg's situation. And we don't always have to agree. Gina Lee, when she says she watched it, I may have a different opinion. It may not be the popular opinion, but to me, I think the officers tried to do a good job. Whether the end result was good or not, they tried to do a good job. She commented and she commended them for the tactics, the hold that they used on her, not putting pressure on her. Good job while you reported that, CC, letting everybody know that those were the things that he was using. And it got out of hand. You know what I mean? The mother came over there, thought she was helping, and she may have escalated the situation instead of de-escalating. You know what I mean? When we come over here on Simply Us, we on Simply Us, we're just giving our opinion. We're an opinionated group. If you're not getting the shot, to me, you're taking a hell of a chance. If you're curling and you can't get the shot because of your immune system, if you BB who says her immune system is compromised, you know what I mean? Okay, you got a reason why. But let me tell you something. I'll bring this home with this. Some people are the matriarch of their family. Some people are the matriarch of their family. I'm one. I'm the breadwinner of my family. I got a lot of kids, grandkids, and all that, and everybody has their own job, and they have college degrees, and they all. But I am the alpha and the omega of my family. Something happens to me, my family's going to definitely take a hit. Not just because of our dollars and cents, because of our leadership, guidance, and the position that I hold. Carolyn Hill is the matriarch of her family. Not just because she's the one with the dollars and cents, or she's the one who brings everybody to her home, and she's the one where all the cookouts are, and she's the one that helps out when people need the money or what, because she is the matriarch, she is the alpha in her family. She's the person that's around. You not getting your shot, you playing around with this pandemic can lose one person and change the legacy of a family forever. The legacy of a family forever. If you have anything that participates in the Carolyn being sick or dying, shame on you. If you have anything about participating in BB's immune system getting broke down and her being sick again, shame on you. Shame on you. If you don't pay any attention to this podcast, you didn't learn anything. You just came on here because you just wanted to say you came on. Thank you for chiming in. But if you just didn't learn anything from anybody that's teaching you, shame on you.
Yeah.
Y'all do a good job out there, everybody. All right, y'all, let's do what we got to do to get up out of here. Hey, y'all, to Dr. Ted, who didn't get to join us today, who is in the great state of Hawaii, somewhere laid up on a beach or something like that. I wish I'd have stayed in school so I could have been a doctor so I could take my family to Hawaii, because me and my wife were going to Hawaii, and by the time we finished planning, that's what we tell them what we did. Even without money, we opted out.
Yes, indeed. That's an expensive venture right there. It's cheaper to go out of the country than it is to go to Hawaii.
Hawaii is 15. I'm gonna tell you, we crunched the numbers. Hawaii is $15,000 if you go to Hawaii. It's from $12,000 to $15,000. If you show off, it's $18,000 to $20,000. And me and Cece are show offs. I gotta get on. We got an island hop. You can't go to Hawaii and stay on one island. You gotta hit Waikiki. You gotta hit Honolulu. You gotta hit them all. We went island hop for 3. By the time they finished, we was at 18,300. We hadn't even bought a hamburger. We hadn't even landed. Had we seen? We hadn't even bought a sandwich.
And that's one thing that I found out with just researching the trip about Hawaii that's different from other places. You go to Jamaica, you go to a tropical island, you can go to these resorts that's all inclusive. Ain't nothing all inclusive about Hawaii. Ain't no free meals at the hotel. Ain't no free transportation. Everything they gonna nickel and dime you to death.
Yeah, they ain't say nothing about no breakfast complimentary or none of that. Sir. Hey, shout out. Here's my hat. Y'all see this? This is my godson, Trey Styles. His name is Trey. Little John's son. This is his line of clothing right here. He called it Trey Styles. Shout out. I'm sporting Trey Styles hat today. I'll put his logo on there. CC will run a banner for him to let you know where to get these things. So the Brian Samuels and Trey Samuels, who's an entrepreneur. Brian Samuels makes our mugs, makes our glasses. He makes what else? Makes our roll. What do they call CC that you cook in? Aprons. He makes our aprons and stuff. And my good buddy Gordy Green is another person who puts all that down. He makes a lot of that stuff. He's one of those fraternities. I don't know which one, but he makes all that stuff. All right, y'all, let's get up out of here. We've been in your home long enough. Shout out to an awesome show. Shout out to an awesome show panel. Shout out to an awesome show. Okay, y'all, let's go off and finish this thing off like we always do. Round the horn. Closing thoughts, CC.
Like I always tell everybody, and I'll end the way that we started with saying this Delta variant is serious. You know, get your vaccines, and still, even if you're vaccinated, please continue to wear the damn mask, because these mask mandates are also ramping back up. More and more localities, more and more businesses are now requiring people to go back to wearing masks. You know, as Lil Frank said, having the vaccine does not make you bulletproof. You know, so take extra care of yourself, people. And if you don't care about yourself, that's fine. But care about the people who are around you and do the right thing.
Good one, CC. Closing thoughts, Gina.
My thought is, if you're helping someone and expecting something in return, you're doing business. You're not being kind.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you better tell them again, Gina.
One more time. Get to him again, Gina.
If you're helping someone and expecting something in return, you're doing business. You're not being kind.
There you go.
We got this thing that we always say. You'll hear us count down from 3, 2, 1, and then we say something about you people out there in podcast land that carry a whole bunch of tails and everybody else. You'll always hear us say this together. When we count backwards, remember that from the show. When we get to 1, we're going to say the same thing. Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1. Run, tell that. You run, tell everything else. Run, tell that. If you're helping somebody and you act like you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart and you want it back, you didn't help them. You're doing business. All right, y'all. I'm gonna take this home. My closing thought is our listening audience. My closing thought out there is y'all out there in podcast land. Everybody that's chiming on. Everybody that's chiming in. My closing thoughts is Rick next door, who's a Caucasian, who's now one of our influential people who has opinionated. He's always a cool guy. If you sit over there and you think that you don't like a person because the color of their skin, you're sick. If you don't like a person because of their religion, they're not sick, you're sick. If you don't like a person because of their sexual preference, they're not sick, you're sick. Real talk, they're not sick, you're sick. You need to take some time out to think what you can do to better yourself. Figure out what's going on in your world, how you can help out. I don't care if it started as small as us doing a podcast. We really have in our mind from Simply Us that we're helping out. Sometimes you're the solution, as Gina just now mentioned out, and sometimes you're the problem. Sometimes you're the problem. Do the best you can to help out in any kind of way you can. All right, y'all, I have this way that I go home. This is my tribute to my mom. One of my mom's favorite songs is a church song that y'all probably know. Eminem's one of my favorite rappers. I always used to close out on him, but I close out a little different than that. Right now, this is, excuse me, I'm a little touched. This was a really feel-good episode podcast. It really was. I like to think that we're making a difference out there because in our mind, we're working hard to do that. So, that being said, may the work we've done speak for me. May the life we've lived speak for me. When I'm resting in my grave, oh Lord, may they say, may the service we give on our podcast speak for me. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a difference. We're trying to make a service. And may the work that we've done later on speak for us. May somebody go through their day and comment on something that they read. May somebody go through their day and say that Rick is a Caucasian guy, all white people ain't bad. May somebody say that Gina Lee did not just agree or go with the masses and say because I saw it one way that this was a cop doing the same thing to George Floyd. She said I had another opinion and I voiced it. It may not be the popular opinion that's it. May CC, think about CC gave you a topic that nobody paid much attention to or didn't know anything about. All our topics aren't the big coup de grace or the things that's happening and stuff like that. It's the little person. It's the guy over there with the car wash that's harming ex-offenders and dope fiends. Be part of something. Be somebody important. Be yourself. Gina Lee taught us something about G.O.D., which y'all have witnessed again today, y'all. On 3, we're going to go with G.O.D. What does it stand on 3? 1, 2, 3. Greatness on display. That's what you were. Hands up, panel. Hands up. Hands up. Thank you for an awesome show. Catch us tomorrow. We'll see if Doc Ted is going to be doing his thing tomorrow. If not, we're going to be running his show for him, and we're going to talk about the things that he would talk about. CC, take us home with our schedule for the week.
Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. we have Dr. Ted Talks. On Thursday at 9:30 a.m. is the next episode of the Simply Us podcast. And on Friday, we will have Gina Lee live on location with Did You Know?
And Gina Lee has changed her time, so 11 o'clock. She's coming up at 11 a.m.
Absolutely. Gina Lee, Did You Know? Will Friday, now be at 11 a.m.
And on this Friday, we will be reporting on location from the Harriet Tubman tour.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Max out there, we going. Hey, Brenda Bailey, we going. Hey, Karen Cunningham will pay for our lunch. We eating. All right, y'all. Everybody out there, don't ever forget. Be somebody important. Be yourself. Do a good deed today of no more than to make yourself smile. Who's that? Lisa Wynn. Hey! As Lisa would say, and you're going to need some insurance. You're going to need some insurance. She's our State Farm representative. She represents our cars, our homes, our boats, everything. That's what it is. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Have a good evening, Gina. Have a good evening. Good afternoon, CC. Kenny Davis, take us home as you always does. Kenny Davis always teaches us that. Now, go off, everybody, in podcast land and have a great day on purpose. All right, that's what's up. To God be the glory. See you.